I'm Dr. Noah Manyika, and you're watching
Kitchen Copilot Cooking Club.
Hello and welcome to the Kitchen Copilot Cooking Club featuring Executive Chef Mark Allison. Thank you so much, man, for having us in your home.
Oh, you're welcome.
Yeah.
You're welcome anytime, Noah.
And I'm here with three good people. My friend and co-founder of the Kitchen Copilot app, Scott Forsyth, and his beautiful wife, Melissa, beside me, and my wife, Phyllis. What's on the menu today?
We're going to start off with doing a traditional Italian soup, a Tuscan White Bean Soup.
Well, Mark is not just a chef, he's an award-winning educator as well, and he was actually honored at number 10 Downing Street by...
Back in 2003 by Prime Minister Tony Blair.
That was before you came down here.
The year before we moved to America, yeah.
And you've written 3 books as well.
Yep.
What are those books?
They're all family cookbooks. I've got 3 Boys and the Chef 1, 3 Boys and the Chef 2, and Let's Be Smart About Diabetes.
And you wrote these when you were working for...
I was the culinary director of nutrition at the Dole Food Company, and that's when I actually wrote the 3 books.
That's awesome. And when you got here, you actually worked as an educator here in the US.
I was a professor at Johnson Wales University, and then I later became the Dean of Culinary Arts at Johnson Wales University.
It's fantastic. Well, you know, I just can't wait to sample the meal that you're preparing for us. And Scott, you have done an incredible job at Kitchen Copilot, just making it possible for people to upload their recipes and all that good stuff. But at the basic level, what does the Kitchen Copilot app do?
Yeah, well, thanks, Noah. Yeah, what we really want to do is kind of address that need. So many people, they throw a meal together at the last moment, or they're ready to prepare a meal and they're missing an ingredient. And so people revert to things that are less healthy, or they go out and eat and they have things that cost a lot more money. They go to eat more often than they really want to. And so we want to address that with having some tooling that does everything right from the early planning. Because it starts before you're here.
Right.
It starts with the planning and then the ingredients, making sure they're there for you, and then just be able to guide people and make it easier on the actual the day of the cooking. Right. And then also discovering recipes. We have a huge database that you can discover already, plus you can import your own, take pictures of recipes and import those as well. And so all of that's included. So, and then in addition to that, we want to make a community out of it as well. So we have a number of tools now, many more coming. You can share recipes, you can share cookbooks, you can share lists within the family and build a community around it as well.
Yeah, I'm not going to go ahead of myself and tell them about the other good things that you have. So we'll let you be Father Christmas at the time when we release the next version, then you'll be telling us, you know, this is what's coming next. But, you know, this says Tuscan White Bean Soup, but it says Tuscan, which suggests that it's Italian.
It's influenced by Italian ingredients. So we've got some cannellini beans, we've got some fresh garlic, we've got some thyme, we've got some rosemary, we've got some really fresh ingredients such as bell peppers, and then we're going to finish it off with some spinach, Parmesan cheese, and it'll be a delightful soup for the whole family. You
know, my doctor swears by the Mediterranean diet. He says it's absolutely the best for you know, even preventing some of these diseases. I mean, no diet can eliminate things completely.
I think anybody that actually cooks with whole ingredients, such as this onion, that's a 1 ingredient vegetable. It's got no additives, preservatives, or colorants. Then that's wholesome for the body. So it is like food is medicine. And the more ingredients that you eat, like fruits, vegetables, beans, legumes, nuts, or lean proteins, it's going to be better for the body.
I know that you're very much a promoter of food as medicine. And, you know, talk to us a little bit about that.
I believe food is medicine, Noah, because you just have to look at how many ill people are in America and how much we pay for healthcare. And 85% of all disease, that includes heart disease, cancer, and type 2 diabetes, are food related. Right. So if people just learned how to cook food in their own home, we taught children how to cook, then at least when they go into a food store, they'll know what to choose. Right. Instead of bypassing the fruits and vegetables and going straight to the processed aisle, then they'd be a lot healthier. Because if you look at obesity in this country and the knock-on effects of how much the healthcare is costing everybody, And you start a prescription medication, you're probably on that medication for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
So the longer you can push that back by eating whole foods,
Right.
the better position you're going to be in.
Well, I'm really excited to watch you do your thing now, and I'm going to move out of the way. And
we will make the soup, and this is one of the soups that I generally make when it's coming into the fall, because it's packed full of nutrition. So our ingredients: we've got some white onion, we've got some carrot, we've got some bell peppers, garlic, celery, cannellini beans. We're going to finish off with some fresh spinach. I've got some rosemary and thyme, some diced canned tomatoes, but you could use fresh. We've got a little bit of olive oil. We've got some vegetable stock, and we're going to actually put it all together and see how it tastes.
Actually, before you even do that, as you are doing that, Scott, I just noticed that you actually uploaded his recipes on here, and I actually see the ingredients and everything. That's exciting, man.
Everyone who has the app, download it. You can get it from the Android or the Apple Store, and you're automatically a friend with the account called Kitchen Copilot. Right. So, and I'll post-date the date on purpose to 10/10/24, October 10th. That's where you'll see the recipe we're doing today. And you'll be able to add it into your own cookbook, add it to your plan, and make the meal.
That's awesome. And all these recipes are available actually in your book as well.
Yeah.
Where do people go to buy your book?
If you go on Amazon Prime, you'll be able to find all 3 books. And every recipe in all 3 books literally take 15 to 20 minutes to make.
Yeah.
They all use whole ingredients, so they're really healthy for the whole family.
That's awesome. Well,
let's start.
Let you do your thing, man.
So, and just ask any questions you want while we're doing this. So we're going to start off with an onion, and a lot of time people ask, how do you not cry when you're cutting an onion?
Yeah.
And there's a little secret here. I've already cut this onion in half because you cannot cut something that's going to move around the chopping board. So it needs a flat surface. Okay. So I've cut the onion in half, but I've also left the root on. Okay. Because what happens is if you've got a knife and you're cutting through and the knife isn't sharp, all the layers of the onion fall off. Yeah. And that's when you start to cry, because the order of the onion is now in the air. So the technique is keep the root on, have a flat surface, and then a sharp knife, and then just cut through, making sure you're not cutting your fingers, and then cut across, and then cut down, and then you've already got dice. Now, when the onion gets a bit small, all you do is you tip the onion on the largest side, and then you take your knife, you rock your knife backwards and forwards, turning it round, and then basically, that's all you're left with. Nice. Okay? That can now go in your compost, and you can recycle that. The onion, I've got our pan on. I'm going to take some extra virgin olive oil. I'm going to add that to the pan. I'm going to turn up the heat, and then I'm going to take a scraper, and we're just going to lift all of that onion and drop it into the pan. Okay. My stock is already in a separate pan on the stove. We're just going to turn the heat up the bat as well to get it nice and hot. Then we've got our carrot. And again, the carrot is going to roll on the table. So what you're going to do is you're going to cut the carrot, and everything you cut wants to fit the palm of your hand. Okay. Okay. If it's too big, that's not going to fit. Again, it's going to be too large to cut. So you've got your carrot. Again, cut it in half. And as you can see, I've got nothing on the chopping board apart from the ingredient that I'm cutting. Okay, there's no point in having all of this on your chopping board because you're going to cut your fingers. Right. So keep your chopping board nice and clean. Then you're going to use this knuckle as a guide to chop the carrot, and then you're just going to rock your knife backwards and forwards. And again, you really need a sharp knife that's going to cut through, because if it's a dull knife, then you're going to use more pressure when you're trying to chop something, and that's more than likely you're going to end up cutting your finger. So again, we're trying to keep everything the same size, and the reason why we're keeping everything the same size is it all cooks at the same rate. So again, we're just going to scoop everything up, pop it into our pan.
I think I need one of those scrapers.
I know. And these are so cheap. They're only about $2.
I love it.
Okay. We've got some celery, and again, we're just going to cut through the celery. And as you can see, what I'm doing is using this finger as a guide, but the knife never comes off the board. That tip is on the board. And then when you rock the knife backwards and forwards, it's really impossible to cut your fingers. So that pops in to the pan. We've got another bit of celery. Again, we're just going to cut through. And again, and it's all about repetition. It's like anything in life, repetition is the mother of skill. So the more times you actually get in the kitchen and the more times you practice, the better your knife skills are going to be. And again, we are trying to keep everything the same size. Every ingredient I'm picking up, I'm dropping in the pan, so I'm leaving nothing on the board. So we've got red, we've got yellow, and we've got orange peppers.
Beautiful.
And they're all the same pepper. It's just they are picked at a different stage. They all start off green and then they turn to different colors.
And they look prettier.
Is that right?
That is right. So that's why a red pepper is about 3 times the cost of a green pepper, because it takes longer to turn red.
For it to turn red.
Yeah. So then we are just dicing this up. Again, look how clean the chopping board is. We're going to add a little bit of salt.
And it's sizzling in there. What do you have in there? How much fat do you have?
I have probably got about a tablespoon of extra virgin olive oil. Okay, salt and pepper in. We've got some garlic. Okay, so with the garlic, what you really want to do is take your knife and then just push it down onto the garlic, and it's already crushed. And then all you're going to do is rock your knife backwards and forwards, clean your knife, add it to the pot. We've got some fresh
Just like that.
rosemary
Smells good.
and thyme.
Oh, that smells good.
And all we're going to do with this is tip it out, and again, one hand on top of the knife, and just rock it backwards and forwards. So it's really difficult to actually cut your fingers, because your fingers should not be in the way of that knife. Take your scraper, drop it in. And the fact of using herbs, you don't have to use as much salt. Okay, salt brings out the flavor, but actually, if you use herbs, you're also adding flavor. So we've got that on the go. Let's pour in our stock.
Smells so good.
Thank you. Hopefully, it's going to taste good as well. And we're just going to add that. We're going to turn up the heat. In this soup, basically takes round about 10 minutes to make, because you still want the vegetables to be crunchy. I remember, like, my mother was a great cook,
Right.
but carrots would be more like carrot puree. And broccoli would just be this like limp
Mushy
thing on the plate.
Right.
And that's why kids don't like vegetables, because people have a tendency to overcook them.
Right.
So the less you add heat to a vegetable, the crunchier it will be and the more flavor you get out of that vegetable.
Right.
And you're retaining nutrition.
Well, you know, as you're doing that, Chef, this just brings me to something else that is just fascinating for me. You as an educator and as an influencer, and that's something that's important even as we develop the Kitchen Copilot app. We want it to be a digital platform that helps people to become influencers, but also for them to feel like they can actually extend their knowledge to others, to educate others. And I think what we're excited about at Kitchen Copilot is providing a digital platform for young up and coming foodies to also become educators like you.
You know why I love food? One, my mother was a great cook and my father was a great gardener, but food brings people together.
Yeah, it sure does.
I think the best conversations that you can ever remember usually revolve around a meal.
And these days with everything that is happening with social media, you see a lot of young people are really interested in cooking and leveraging technology. And with Sam Ettaro back there, I just discovered that it's an Italian name, right?
Sicilian.
Sicilian.
Check it out. You know what Ettaro is?
Yeah, it's a hectare, right?
It's a hectare.
Yeah, I
It's a
saw
unit
that.
of land measurement.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Hectare.
And I was going to get to that. That's exciting. The whole idea of it's about 2 acres of land. What you can do with 2 acres of land to grow fresh produce. So, and we're going to be talking about this even in the other show that we're working on with Sam. We're going to leverage this guy
For sure.
to teach young people
Yeah,
how to
it's
cook.
amazing.
And I mean, this cooking club is not just for old fogies like me, right? Is that what it's meant to be?
It's all about education.
Yeah, yeah.
Because you don't know until you learn something.
Right.
So everything revolves around education.
Exactly.
We've got our soup boiling away there. So now we're going to add our tomatoes.
Tomato.
And then
And what are these? Are these diced?
They are diced and
Okay.
they're just canned tomatoes. And what I like about just certain canned items is it's tomatoes and salt. There's nothing else in
There's
there.
nothing else. Yeah.
Okay. So then even our beans, our cannellini beans, they've basically just been boiled. A little bit of salt has been added to it, and then they've been canned. Now look at the color of that. Isn't that fabulous? What you should always do when you're making something is make sure you taste it for the correct seasoning. Which this will be hot. So
Okay.
just be careful.
So I can do that.
So you can smell it. You can taste it. That's You know what? I should have been a chef because that tastes pretty good.
Pretty good.
Really good.
So we've got
Yeah,
everything in
right.
there apart from our fresh spinach, which we're just going to add. And then we're just going to give that a little bit of a stir. And then we're basically, that's it, done. And then we're just going to spoon some of this into a bowl. And then we're going to take some Parmesan cheese. And we're just going to grate that over the top.
Scott's like, that's the best part right there.
You like Parmesan cheese?
That is our Tuscan White Bean Soup.
Wow.
And a family favorite. It tastes absolutely delicious, especially this time of year when it's starting to get cooler on the night time.
Right.
And it's just packed full of nutrition
Oh,
because
wow.
everything in that soup is a whole food ingredient.
Wow.
And it's so easy.
And it's so
to
easy.
make.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your mother could make it. So easy.
Wow.
Okay?
Wow.
And everybody, I'm telling you now, will enjoy it. Add some crusty bread or gluten-free bread. Or you could even add some pasta to that and make it a main course.
That is
Simple as that.
Wait, guys.
Yeah.
Talk to us a little bit about cookware. Is it important, to?
I think it's like anything, it's tools of the trade.
Yeah.
And if you're gonna end up spending a lot of time in your own kitchen, then buy expensive tools. Because a knife like this might have cost, say, $50, but I've had it 20 years.
Right.
And the same with pots and pans. You might as well buy